Hi everyone, I am back to finish the rest of this picture. However, I can smell rain, so I may have to suddenly just disappear and close the windows. So be warned, there may be a sudden stop. But anyway, carry on. You may not notice it anyway because, you know, it will just flow hopefully. Right, we are going to start with this little swimsuit here. I think it's really cute. So we're just going to start with this one. Oh, gosh, it's zoom is quite fast. Okay, we'll pop it into the middle a little bit. There we go. Now I'm quite tempted to do it red with white dots, but we have already done a sort of red based swimsuit, although we haven't used the crimson, so maybe we will. Because I don't know, I just fancy doing it red. So here is our crimson colour. Ooh. And I'm going to do the main part in crimson. Leave the dots white, I think. But we'll do the straps and edging in a different colour and this bit, just so we haven't got loads of white. Or else it'll, yeah, there won't be any colouring on it, will there? So I'm excited, this is the last bit. I was pondering, I did just go off and have some lunch, and I was pondering the background, thinking what should we do? We've got this sort of tiled business going on over here, because I had thought, well, we could do a bit of pastel to look like sand, because it's a beachy sort of thing, but the tiles don't really tie up with it, so I've decided we won't do a background. It will just, also some of the colour is a little bit light, like for these earrings that are up here. We've left white to try and make them look a bit shiny. And so if we do a background with pastels is what I was thinking, it will just go into that white, so you won't see that shine. So I think it's probably better to just leave it and leave a white background. So that's what I'm going to do. But persevere on with the with these items, which are I think going to look, I think these look so cute. It's drawn in such a cute way. Okay, that's quite unevenly coloured. What I'm going to try and do is make it a little bit darker here. I've just realised that, yeah, that's okay. Sorry, I just thought I hadn't put my lamp on, but I had. A bit darker here, and just trying to even it out a little bit where I've missed bits. It's quite difficult, I find, colouring around things like the dots here. I don't know, it's just my thing, I find it quite hard. And then this bit here. So I hope everyone's having a good day today. I'm hoping that by the time this video goes out, I'll be getting used to the warmer weather. Whew. It's suddenly upon us, as it does happen in June. May's usually continue to be quite cool and we only have a few warm days, and then suddenly in June summer comes upon us like a flash and it's hot. But hopefully after a week or so I start to get a little bit used to it. Right, there's the red. I think I like that. I like that a lot, even though I say so myself. Right, so we need a colour for this sort of edging straps and things. What should we do? We've got a darker red, but I don't think that's quite going to work. I'm just going to look at what colour that is there. Tyrian purple I'm going to use, because I think it looked quite red. I just pushed on the end of it to try and get it out, and it's that sharp. Ow. Tyrian purple. So I'm going to use this for the straps to start with. I'm going to make each end of the straps a little bit darker. Although that bit, just all that bit dark. And then that bit a little bit lighter towards the middle. Goodness, I'm feeling warm, and I made myself a coffee. But it might be cold by the time I finish this. But I really should have put some ice and made an iced coffee. Iced coffees are so easy to make. What I do is I use my instant coffee that I usually drink. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like instant coffee, but you could use a shot. of espresso if you have a machine. So I use my, gosh, it's a very loud siren. I use my instant coffee, and I just put enough boiling water over it to dissolve it into the cup. And then I put 4 or 5 ice cubes on it. And then I just sort of think I should fade it towards the middle here. And then I use cold water on it mainly, and then leave a little bit for a bit of milk, the amount of milk I would normally use in a normal coffee. I mean, you could, that's like almost like in a sort of Americano, iced Americano. But if you like lots of milk, then you can top it up with milk, of course. But I sort of think having too much milk isn't that necessary or healthy. So I don't tend to use loads of milk. Also because I drink soya milk, it doesn't taste amazing. So I prefer to taste the coffee than the milk. Although if I go out and have a cold drink, I have an oat milk latte. They're nice. It's because I can't drink lactose. I'm sure a whole cow's milk latte is probably really nice. Yeah, I used to enjoy them. But my sister used to say that some people prefer oat milk to cow's milk anyway, even people who normally drink dairy. But I'm not sure about, I don't know about that. I don't really know. There we go. Now the edging, I'm thinking that we've just got this top bit and bottom bit here and here. I haven't got any on the knickers. I was thinking maybe just a really dark bluish colour, and we've got the lapis lazuli. Struggling to say it. Here we go. Lapis lazuli. I still can't say it. And we'll pop that in here. So again, fade in the same way. So just build up the layers on the edge. Oh, I love the way Rita's drawn this. Just looks like a little girl's really cute little outfit, doesn't it? There we go. Right, we'll do the fan next. Hang on, let's just move it into the centre of the shot. There we go. I think we'll grab a brown now for the sort of handle. We have, yeah, I'm going to use the cork. It's a really pale brown. I'm going to use that first. So there it is, cork. And then we'll add a little bit of shape to our handle with slightly darker brown after. But I'll just build this up a little bit because I don't want it to be totally pale. And I'm thinking I might use it here. I'm not going to change, I'm going to try and get an evenish colour there. And then I'm going to use a different shade of brown. I'm going to grab the autumn leaf. I don't think we've used that one yet. Let's just give it a quick sharpen, just to add, oops, a little bit. I thought it was snap then. I heard a snapping noise, but it didn't. Autumn leaf. And I'm going to put a little bit on the edges of here to just darken this up a bit. It's quite a nice warm colour, this as well. There we go. And then on the edges of the handle, because I want to make it look a little bit more rounded. Just fade it into the centre. There. And now our sort of patterned bit. I'm thinking, I was going to do blues, but the tiles I'm going to do in blue. I think blue tiles look really nice. So what do we have? We have a lot of greens. But yeah, let's use some of the lighter greens, shall we? That we haven't used yet. Like the... Let's use the lettuce green to start with, if I can find it. I did turn them around. There we go. There it is. Lettuce green. and I'm going to use it all over in as even a layer as I can get. Now to me this doesn't look much like lettuce, but maybe I don't eat the right type of lettuce. So just an even colouring, and then I'm going to look at each individual little piece. So down here I want that band there to be quite dark, so I'm just going to layer it up, and the same with this one. Now this is a pale colour, it's not going to come up really dark, but hopefully you can see the difference here where I've layered up a little bit. And with this one, I think I'll start darker in the bottom, then fade towards the edge. So I won't add any more to the edge, just to the bottom of each little bit. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just trying to layer up where they're overlapping really. And then doing more layers here, so quite a few here, done about 10 already, and then less as we go out like that. So quite a few around here, and then less like that. So I hope you're all okay today. I wonder how many of you are colouring along. Thank you to all of you who've watched the whole of this series. I find that viewings tend to drop off. I'm going to try and do this bit dark as if it's the sort of background bit. Viewings tend to drop off as the series goes on, so being the last one I would expect it to have the least amount of viewers. So thank you for those who are still watching. It used to put me off a little bit doing a series because you know, I got less and less views, but in the end I figure that I can't really do a whole page of something if I don't do it as a series. Right, we're going to be doing these tiles, which is why I've come out, because they're all the same. I'm tempted to just use one colour for all of them. I might grab, yes, I might use the teal blue. It's really pretty and it's quite a dark colour, which I think means that, I'll try and bring it a bit closer so you can see it, means that I can have different intensities of colour. I'm going to start with the centre bit, and I'm just going to do this quite dark. So I'm going to build up the colour quite a lot so that it's really quite dark. I'm ignoring the fact that it's got little squares drawn in it. That's just helping add to the dark idea really. Now I was going to do this more of a sort of traditional Delft blue tile type colour, but we've used those sorts of blues, so this is just a different one that we haven't used really. So you could use the indigo or something like that, like we used over here, but I just wanted to, you know, keep it a little bit different, show you a different colour. We may use a slightly lighter colour if there's a similar bluey green. I'm not sure, I'll have a look in a minute. I'm trying to look and colour at the same time. It's never a good idea, I wouldn't advise it. Keep your eye on the paper, it helps you to stay in the lines. It's not foolproof, but it helps. Definitely not. Especially when the letterbox goes and makes you jump, like in the one of the videos of these I did. I'm just going to look at my sheet of colours. So this is the where is the one I'm using here? There. I'm using this one here, the teal. So I'm just having a look to see if there's a slightly lighter colour which is similar, and I'm thinking that porcelain blue looks slightly greeny blue. I don't know if I've used it already, but I think I'm going to grab that one and use that in some areas. I've just got to find it. There it is, porcelain blue. I don't think I used it actually. Oh, porcelain blue, I don't know if you can see it. Is it better like that? I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to do this square piece with this. I'm going to keep it quite light because I want it to almost look like that centre part is sort of sunk down a little bit, which it wouldn't be because it's a tile. But just try to make it look a bit different. So my one boy hasn't got any exams today, my other boy's got 2, so I just had my lunch and sent them both a message, see how they're doing. I suspect the one that's got 2 exams has probably not spoken to his brother. They don't tend to talk to each other much when they're actually in college. The thing is, one of them's got loads of friends and the other one's got none, so it's one of them's hanging with his friends, so the other one doesn't want to talk to him really. It's sad, really. I think it's quite difficult being a twin because you don't always need to know how to make friends because you've got a friend, but if your twin decides to friend other people, then you're a bit stuck. And also you don't learn how to make friends because you've got a different bond with your twin than you have with other people. I'm switching back to my teal blue and I'm going to do these loopy bits, okay, and I'm going to do them so they're quite dark near the edge of the piece we've just done and then lighter towards the outside, towards the curved part. I'm sorry, I'm quite zoomed out, so I don't know how easy it is to see what I'm doing, but hopefully you know by now the sort of way I colour, so it should help you. If you're new, then just over colour the edge nearest to your square bit and then reduce those layers as you come towards the edge of the curve. If you can't cope with that, just block colour it in. Just try and keep it a little bit lighter than the centre. And I'm just going to work through each one in exactly the same way. This isn't really the colour that I'd imagined doing these tiles, to be honest. I'd really thought I was going to do them blue, and when I grabbed the teal I actually thought it was going to be more blue. It's called teal blue, but it, you know, I don't know why I'm being a bit thick because I know what colour teal is and I know it's not a dark blue, but anyway, I think it will look nice, but just not how I imagined. And I think you probably all know the feeling that you sort of wanted something to turn out a certain way and it hasn't quite, but sometimes it comes out better than you wanted. So it's worth sticking with it if something isn't turning out how you wanted, because you may find it's better, or it just is good practice and then you can try again on another page. So it's good. It's all about learning, and you know, you have to be accepting of yourself that, you know, we're all learning. Every person in every single job is learning and improving all the time. Like I was watching tennis yesterday, for example. It's the grass court season is just starting, so the UK gets all excited about tennis, and I was watching Andy Murray, who used to be our #1 male player, and has won Wimbledon a few times and things like that. So he was very good, but he's getting a lot older now, and so he's not as physically able as he has been in the past. But that hasn't stopped him trying, and of course there are things that will still be improving in this game. If you think about it, the more experienced you are, the more tactically aware you would be. You'd know different aspects of the game much better. You'd know your own game much better and things like that. So even though he's not going to be able to run down every ball without keeling over, still certainly a lot fitter than me, though I am older than him. Not that that should be any excuse. He, you know, there are areas of his game that he will still be improving even though he's older, as you know, as he gets older. So we need to bear in mind the same thing. And particularly with art, there's most of us don't have a physical restriction as we get older. Some people will, you know, arthritis and other hand conditions, and also sitting leaning over a desk isn't always something everyone can cope with. This is porcelain blue, but even without, even if you can't physically cope so long with, I'm going to do this in a really hard layer, so I'm not colouring hard, but I'm putting down lots of layers. You will still have learnt a lot about your craft. You will learn what colours you like, what colours go together. You will learn techniques of colouring, shading and shadows, and you may have watched lots of different people's videos teaching you different things. You may have learnt your own things from your own experience, you know, so there's always something new to learn. Always. And even the most experienced colourist who's been colouring since they were born will learn things until they stop, you know. So we have to be a little bit forgiving of ourselves, because we're not going to be perfect. Never. We're always going to see something that could be improved. There's always going to be someone that's better than us in some way or another. You know, you might think, oh, so-and-so is the perfect, they're the best colourist I've ever seen. But they might avoid doing a certain type of colouring. They might avoid colouring, say, swimsuits because they don't know how to do it, or whatever it might be, you know. So, but they might just keep quiet about it. So there's always something. So you just need to be forgiving of yourself, and also think about practice. Now, I personally start colouring when I get up in the morning. Well, sometimes a little bit before breakfast, not always, and then I might colour all day long until I go to bed. I might not even go out, you know. I'm getting better at going out, I know I should. And so I practice so much. This year I've had one day when I've not coloured at all, and one day when I needed about 5 or 10 minutes. Every other day I have probably coloured for between 6 and 10 hours a day. Wow, it's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot of practice that I'm getting. Now for my last little bit, I've gone back to my teal blue, and I'm going to do these little bits in the corner, and I'm going to try and do them fairly lightly. I'm going to leave the other bit white, because I think it's just going to help to frame this bit, which I think is really pretty. And I think this is just like a little corner decoration, and I'm just going to try and press quite lightly to get a light finish on that corner, because I want your attention to be drawn to this bit, because I think that's the prettiest bit, in my opinion. If you like the corners better, do them darker. Or you might think a darker corner might frame it better. It's up to you. So yes, as I was saying, I have a lot of practice, a lot. And that's how I get so many pages done in a month, you know. And I'm fast at colouring as well, so that really helps me. Some people will spend hours and hours and hours on one little tiny thing. That's not for me. I can admire people who do that. It looks absolutely stunning when they're finished. But I would just run out of patience, and I don't want to get frustrated or bored with colouring. I do it in a way that makes it enjoyable for me. And that is that I might add a few layers and a bit of shading here and there, but I don't spend a long time on each page or piece, because I get bored. That's all there is to it. My husband is exactly the same with his art. He uses postcard sized pieces of paper or sketchbooks for his art, because he cannot cope with the idea of a huge blank canvas, and he doesn't want to spend that long per picture, so he uses smaller paper. And an artist friend of his keeps telling him he needs to do bigger ones, but actually, because his artist friend does do big oil canvases, but actually my husband went to some open art studios at the weekend, and someone was selling her art, and she was doing just smaller pieces that were about the size of his, so it made him feel a lot more confident about what he was doing. Let's take the paper away. Actually, now I can see that it's a bit wonky. and take a little photo. So we have finished the page. So well done if you've coloured along. You may have used Tombows if you've got them, or you may have used other pencils and matched up as best you can. Some of the colours are a little difficult to match. That is why I wanted the set, because it does have some really unique colours. I'm just going to tip it up like that because I think it shows it off a little bit better. But thank you very much for joining me. I hope that that you enjoyed the video. Now I've made it all wonky, never mind. Yes, thank you for sticking with me for the whole video, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and happy colouring.